Hey video fans, look, there's no way to sugarcoat it. This week was rough. Played a course called North Shore, which absolutely love. Tight, but fair. Greens were open, no frost delays, and look, from a scoring perspective, it was probably one of the worst rounds I've had in a long time. But luckily, like we talked about last time, score not only isn't the primary focus, but it doesn't really matter. And if it did matter, I'm sure Earl and his, diatribe at the end would be the first to tell you that I did beat him despite how poorly I played. But again, that doesn't matter because these are just numbers, not the reality. So I guess what I'm saying is the fact that I beat Earl on probably one of my worst days of golf in the last 2 years doesn't matter. These are just words and concepts and constructs by other people. But let's take a look at kind of like why I think this was so rough. One of the things that I have struggled with in my quest for a perfect swing is early extension. In scouring the internet, I apparently am not the only person who struggles with this. This is evident by the fact that I did not invent the term early extension. Somebody else did, so clearly there is at least one other person who struggles with this concept. Essentially, it means I'm standing up on my swing, I'm coming out of it, I'm using a lot of hands, not my body, to move through. And luckily, my good friend and mentor, Sean Foley, also coaches Tiger Woods. Earl did connect me with, or coached in the past Tiger Woods, did connect me with this individual, has developed this device. No free ads here, so I'm not going to name it, but essentially what you do is you wrap it around your wrist, and the nice thing about it is it helps you set your hand by kind of going back into this pocket in the swing. And for me, the most important thing is not doing this early in the downswing. Instead, staying really strong, coming through, and only when necessary, separating from that. So at the range, this is a wonderful gift. I will say on the course for the first 11 holes, it was a lot of thinking when you're not wearing it in terms of am I in the right position? Is my hand up here? Am I going through? And kind of only when I reminded myself around hole number 11 that in fact that is not the point of this quest, right? The point of this quest is not to have 8 million things, swing thoughts. It is to put the most beautiful swing on the ball possible, and whatever may happen from there will happen. That I ultimately started to play well. So I do think that we've got some positive trends here. I am going to apologize in advance for what you're about to see, and thank you for sticking with me.
Things got off to a good enough start here on the first shot, but I'm afraid the tides would turn. The punishment would continue, decent swing, unfortunate result would put me into the trees. What would happen next was borderline unspeakable. Once out of the woods, did manage to cleanse the palate here with the follow-up shot to get things back in order, but the damage was done at this point and things were moving incredibly quickly. Needless to say, confidence was not exactly exuding out of my pores. However, this particular shot had a chance. Alas, the hole-in-one was not meant to be on this particular day, and the search for my second hole-in-one shall continue. Done no favors by the shot tracer on this particular hole. This was a fantastic shot, absolutely great. Going on to the next one, well, another great one, and we were rolling. Papa Earl was just absolutely putting on a display, and he would use this drive of the short par 4 here to put more pressure. I'd like to think there was a lesson to be learned here by Papa Earl, and you may just see it at the end of the day. Sure as the November cold, John will always slice the ball into the water on this particular hole, and he does not disappoint on this particular one again. However, I would follow it up with an equally disturbing shot, however mine to the left. Earl began to build a comfortable lead up by 4 strokes after this short par 3, and it was looking as if all hope was lost. Something was summoned from deep within, and this day your hero would not be denied. After a beautiful drive here, I would follow it up with an impressive shot, leaving it just to the right of the green. Up and down for par, and we were a-rolling. This is the shot that really had to make Earl nervous in our match. A beautiful, beautiful draw, probably to 12 feet on the long par 3 green. I could tell that he was getting a little bit nervous, especially on the next hole, when a stinger found its way up to the very front of the green. After winning the final hole, the comeback was complete, and the butterfly was victorious.
Alright, so clearly, as my daughter would say, what you just saw was not cute. It was not beautiful. I think there were moments of beauty scattered throughout deep, dark valleys of despair. When I watched the video, though, putting this together, what I will say is even the bad results, though, didn't necessarily happen from terrible looking swings. You know, with the exception of that just horrendous topper, which frankly, you know, get out of the season, get out of the way early in the season when it doesn't matter, right? Like that's the goal. Let's get those truly embarrassing shots out of the way. But let's talk about what we're going to do to fix this problem. Number one, you might remember last year we played with a beautiful set of Titleist blades in the off season. You may also notice that they got an upgrade this season in the form of a gorgeous bezel and a refurbished base. COVID definitely got me new hobbies. Fixing up old golf clubs definitely was one of them. I'm going to go back to this set because I do think it really helps me not focus on score. Also, the fact that they are smaller heads, more difficult to play, is important, but I did give an upgrade to a different set of clubs as well, and one that I'm looking forward to playing this year. So, in honor of the future national champion Washington Huskies, you will see beautiful purple grips matched with an equally gorgeous bezel, hand installed. My preferred shafts that I have been fit for, set to 1 degree flat. And these are a set of Mizuno MP18s. So slightly older clubs, slightly smaller head, a tad bit of technology in them. I do think we're going to go back to the half set because, again, I don't think it does me any favors to be thinking like, is this an 8 iron, is this a 7 iron, when in fact the difference between those two for a player as poor as me probably doesn't matter, and this will just really help me focus on pick the club that'll get me to the green, make a good swing, we'll go to the ball and find out what we gotta do.
All right, North Shore. Another round I loved, honestly. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the tape. Ben probably proclaiming how he miraculously rallied to win. But let me tell you something. My putt on 18 did not go in. But there were moments on 11 when Ben couldn't get a good lie for, I don't know, 6 straight 5-yard flop shots, which was problematic because he was 60 yards away from the hole at that point. Or on 12 when his shoulders were drooping, and I thought to myself, what is that number you call when you think someone might be at risk of self-harm? That might have all happened. And, you know, maybe I hadn't quite put him away yet. So maybe the putt on 18 didn't go in. I was up by 6 strokes at the time, regardless of whether we were technically tied in holes. But I don't know that I missed the putt.